Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A massive project in the making, of course. So we have another question coming. Nothing yet from social media. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am Veronica Facey, proud citizen of the parish of St. Thomas. I have listened to everything that was said by everybody involved. I am just wondering if the river, the Johnson River, that is beyond that building there, if what will be done to it, if anything, and is it incorporated in all that is?
Okay, I wonder if it's the project manager again. It's the architect. Okay, so the architect would have made the designs, so he is best placed to answer.
So guys, share your
Good
feedback.
afternoon. It's a very prudent
Tell us what
question.
you think
Has
about the
been
urban
a
center.
burning
This is a town hall
discussion.
meeting.
Matter
The
of
cost
fact,
for construction
want to
will
say
be
that the
about
Prime
6
Minister
billion
has
according to what
issued
the chairman
instruction that
said.
National Works Agency
And it will be
embark on
constructed
some
by
river
China
trade.
Harbour
It is
Engineering
not
Company.
incorporated in this budget, however, it's a part of the long-term development. So real consideration has been given to it in light of a 50-year event, because we are aware that there has been flooding in the past, and so we are mitigating against it. But there's some level of money in the National Works Agency allotment, and it has been instructed by the Prime Minister that it has to take place during the construction and the road renewal that is taking place right now. To the extent of the level of money that we spend, I can't truly say, but I know there's allotment in there for the embankment and for the treatment, and also for the protection of this property, we have put in perimeter fencing that will give us some buffer against potential flooding, should there be. Yes, sir.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Mario Sands, also a resident of St. Thomas. My question is just a follow-up with a question regarding the water. I'm concerned about the water, especially the wells, and also the dump that is on my left here. Is there any plans for that? Because I'm concerned that the water may be affected by with the residents will be probably affected by the water supply that is around this area. And this area is a flood-prone area. So I am concerned, how is that going to be worked on, if that can be answered?
Thank you very much. So the flood-prone nature of this space and the water, okay, so the designer, again, is going to speak to this. Expect to be on the stage for so long, but anyway, which way, we are cognizant of the dome. It has been also addressed. Mr. Henry, who knows the area even more than I, and have schooled me on the whole surroundings. Clearly, we're sitting on what was called an aquifer, and it's fed by the Johnson River. Under the WRCA, we are not troubling or interfering with this water source. We're going to try and manage it as best as possible. For those who are aware, the National Works Agency and the National Water Commission has 3 or 4 major pumps. We have actually 6 wells on the property, 3 of which is active. These wells will be managed. We are also in discussion right now with NWC to ensure that right of passage to these water lines are maintained, as they are firmly seated at the northwestern end of the property. We don't want to disrupt the service. This water source, as is alluded to by yourself, is the source of life for St. Thomas currently, correct? And we will not interfere with it. We are going to try and enhance it. We're going to try and manage it even better. Our current situation here is that there are 3 inactive wells. We are also having them tested to see how best we can reactivate them. It was contaminated more than 25 years ago. So we're hoping that life as it being it will go, but we can restore them to the original position. I hope I've answered your question properly.
All right, just a second, ma'am. Question coming in from IG. Can you provide any information on the allocation of space? I don't think that, is that you? Is that you again? Yes?
I think I need a sheet up here. Well, in terms of the allocation of, and I'm hoping that they're speaking of rentable space. I can only say as the chairman alluded to it earlier, it's 114% subtract. I don't think there's any vacant space left. Of the 465,000 square feet that we're putting in place, there's a gross rentable space of about 385,000, which pretty much most of it is taken up. Apart from the government agencies, most of it is committed. There might be, and I suspect it, we might have to do a raffle for the few remaining shops that are available. I can only say to you, act quickly, head to FCG or their client services and find out what is still available. But not a lot left.
Okay, I am going to, sir, are you going to allow the lady to go in front of you? Okay, because he was actually at the mic, but he sat down. That's why I asked it, but that's fine. He says ladies before gentlemen. Go ahead.
Good evening. My question, first and foremost, let I say I am happy for the progressive project that is happening in Central, especially in Western Central. My question and my main concern is there was a gentleman that was going through my property, and he's saying that they're going to build a bypass road through the property from the bottom of the Winnipeg to the ending of the bridge. And in order for him to make that road, he has to go through my daughter's house. I need someone to give me some highlight on that. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate the question. That question, unfortunately, would not be able to be answered by this team, because this team is really speaking to the Morant Bay Urban Center. The roadwork project is separate, a different project. Clearly, this is a major concern that you have, and I can appreciate that. Oh, you're here. Okay, all right, fine. So, okay. Yes, you're using the dual road. Okay.
All right, good evening again. All right, as far as the roadwork project is concerned, there's a proposed overpass to the entrance that actually might affect properties. I know the NWA is in process of issuing notices.
So this town center is going to have an overhead pass to the entrance.
Your
Wow.
property might be affected and others. So there's a drainage feature that goes to the box culvert up by Package Street. And there's the overpass here that kind of stretches a bit to the north going that direction. So that actually might affect the property. So more dialogue will be held with the residents as soon as the design is finalized, but also, as far as I'm aware, a request from the Prime Minister to have that type of development to the front of the this great milestone development. All right, thanks. Hope that clarifies it.
Okay, so we're hearing further dialogue with the NWA is going to be required. Sir.
Good evening,
this is
ladies
the
and
property
gentlemen.
that
Our
they are
protocol
talking about.
observed. I'm Oral Williams
Good
from Seaport
oval.
in St. Thomas.
Right there.
I'm very pleased and impressed with the representation that Minister Robertson has been giving us over the years. But in some cases, I see where sometimes he doesn't have the say as he would normally want. The service of a liaison officer, I'm wondering if that position is available, and to say I am unemployed and would like to take that position.
Sir, you deserve.
Man, I look at job.
Sir, you deserve that round of applause. You deserve that round of applause. You sat there and you heard about the opportunities that this will provide for people in St. Thomas. Stand up and talk. I agree with you. I agree with you. So, sir, I'm going to just invite you maybe afterwards to engage the right persons. Exactly. Not a thing no wrong with that. This is very good. So let me take 2 questions from Facebook. What? I'm taking a question from Facebook. Is that okay? Yes, yes. Miss St. Thomas, understand. What's the projected end date for the project? So we know the start date, but what's the projected end date for the project?
So listen for the start date of the town center and the ending date. Of course, China Harbour Engineering Company will be constructing the town center. So we expect that will be within budget,
I just have to make sure
and
I do my math
ahead
right.
of schedule.
All right. So you'd have heard me say that the projected, and I like to use the word projected, right? Because as we would have seen, I've used that word a lot more now than I did 5 years ago, when before we discovered things like COVID, right? So I use the word projected. As we said before, it's a 24-month project. Okay, so we're talking about April of 2023 is when we're looking at the projected end date. However, I must remind you, 2024, we're 2022 now, 2024. Thanks, Fusion, right, 2024. And I'll also say that there's also going to be what we call a defects liability period, right? And that also means
yes,
that
too,
we're
Chris
going to be here
Fire,
for an
man,
extended
put
period
in job
after
application
to
for
ensure
real.
that all of the buildings and services that are designed and implemented, they actually work to our satisfaction. And so, we're looking at about a 30 to 36 month out and out. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Thank you.
So that's roughly
Sounds good. So you're not
36
just building
months.
and leaving. So you want to just make sure that what is built is really in good standing. So Ms. Mullings wants to say something, yes? Wants to ask a question?
Good afternoon, everyone. As a follow-on to my fellow C4th resident over there that's talking about employment, one of the things that I've always been saying, where infrastructure development is happening, human capital development is also very, very important. And my wondering is, in terms of the shop allocation, if there was a certain percentage in terms of the distribution considered for local residents. So I know there is the government agencies, and I know there is certain shops, maybe KFC was a consideration at one point, but in terms of local businesses, was there any consideration for that?
Okay, and whomever is going to take that, I'm going to add to that a Facebook question as to whether or not there was any units for sale for local business. So not only just for rental, but the question was whether or not there was any for sale.
Good afternoon, everyone. So the decision was that 49% of the development would be allocated to the public entities and 51% to private entities. We have made a recommendation to the FC board and to the Morant Bay Urban Center board that 20% of the overall private sector space should be reserved for indigenous businesses out of St. Thomas. We were here probably about 3 months ago. We did a function where 120,000 square feet of spaces were signed up by St. Thomas business. So Chairman, I believe the sales team and the marketing team will ensure, and as a matter of fact, unlike Brian, I would want to encourage any St. Thomas businesses who have not yet written. There is a space agreement, reservation agreement that is available with my team.
Yes, Shereen, I am in agreement with you and to Chris to Envy.
And have them submitted. There's a process of assessment of each business who will be allocated the space. So we will ask
for background of the business. We will want to know that there's a business plan and some projection as to how this business is going to sustain itself. But we're willing to work with the residents, with the existing indigenous businesses to give whatever support is required.
Howdy, Shereen, howdy.
Thank you very much. And so, Dr. Parker, you're saying that they can collect this right here today? Right. So, in that blue tent to my right, there's
So for those who have
engagement
indigenous
concerned.
business,
IG
there's an
question.
opportunity for them
Sewage
to
system.
sign up.
Sewage system and dump is a major issue in the parish. It's being said that currently the parish do not own a garbage truck. Mr. Mayor, maybe this is actually something that you could speak to. The sewage system and the dump is a major issue in the parish. It is being said that currently the parish does not own a garbage truck for itself. What is the plan for dumping? Okay, so who will take that one?
So
all right, okay. So the design gentleman again.
Gentleman again. With regards to, I can't speak to the garbage truck, but with regards to the sewage system.
Welcome, Winston.
There is an arrangement
Construction is about to start.
NWC and ourselves in terms of upgrading the sewage collection and a current
Well,
plant that exists.
that is something we
That
have yet to hear,
upgrading
sharing as to how much
be a
percentage of the
partnership
workforce will be
between
from St.
ourselves
Thomas for its
in terms of the
construction.
upgrading, 'cause
But
part
as
of
soon
the-
as I hear
all
that,
the
I'll let you
sewage
know.
on this site will be pumped into that system that exists and that we'll be upgrading to facilitate the community at large. As far as the sewage, the waste dump is concerned, there have been long-standing conversations about moving that dump. I am not at a position. I think the mayor might be in a better position.
Indeed,
to
too,
speak
Chris,
to
to
whether that
envy.
will happen within the next year or year and a half. It should have happened before, but we are urging it along as quickly as possible.
Okay, so I'm going to take the lady at the microphone and then you can contemplate, the right person can contemplate another IG question. Will the cricket pitch be affected?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Karen Coombs. I'm an educator. I just want to ask a quick question on behalf of, well, maybe directed more to the local government. I want to know what will be done because sustainability of this urban center is very important. So I want to know what will be done
Thank you, Winston.
liaise with the high schools, basically secondary institutions within this parish to build this awareness amongst the young people about the urban center and to ensure that they understand their responsibility as citizens of this parish to care for this in years and many more years to come, because they seek to benefit most. So from the local government standpoint, I want to know if there's any form of education program to sensitize the young people about the urban center and the sustainability of the urban center from a citizen's perspective. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. There has been some amount of sensitization as we heard before, but the question is very specific to the secondary level, students in secondary level educational institution. Is there a plan for that direct sensitization?
Very important question. I must say, over the last years, possibly 2.5 years, FCJ been touring almost every secondary school in the area, talking with the students, talking with the teachers, telling them about the opportunities that will exist on this project, encouraging them to continue to upgrade their educational skills, the opportunities as will be coming from the BPO industry. What are the requirements? How many subjects to be required? And encouraging them to continue, even if they have left school, to continue doing one subject a year During the 2-year period, you will find yourself having enough qualification that when the jobs are ready, you are ready too. So we have been doing that for the last consistently. And I must say, I must congratulate the marketing team of FCJ because they have took on that project. I've attended
Welcome,
many of
JT.
them with them to
Strong supporter, welcome.
promoting the importance of their involvement.
Indeed, Shireen.
All right, thank you very much. We're listening for the cricket. Will
All
the
right,
cricket pitch
so
be affected?
to your question, Winston, they said 51% will be of the space will be delegated to
So the short answer
the
is yes.
private sector,
but
while
we
49%, if I'm not
already
mistaken,
conducted
to the
some
for government
developmental
services.
planning.
So
There's a
essentially,
13
all
acres
government
adjacent
services that
to
you
the
think of
property,
that you would
which
need,
is
like
presently owned by
NIS,
the
tax,
government. There's a cabinet submission
those
that is
services
being
will be available over
prepared
here.
and submitted. I've also worked with Minister Grange, who has indicated
Welcome,
that
Mark.
she really requires a multi-purpose stadium. We have a concept design that is already completed, and we will be sitting down. As a matter of fact, Sir Dennis was supposed to be here, Chair. He has given his apology. We will be sitting down with the cricket club to discuss with Ms. Grange the way forward. But there are lands that are available, and FCJ has given its commitment to be part of that development for a multi-purpose stadium to be placed in the parish.
So there will be a multi-purpose
Okay, thank you very
stadium
much. So you may be losing a
to
cricket
place
pitch,
in
but you're
the
getting more than a cricket pitch.
in the parish.
All
So
right,
the cricket pitch that's at the
just before I
Oval
take yours, I
might be
will want to just
transformed into
put
a
out
multi-purpose
another ID
stadium and
question
not
for
just a cricket
contemplation while I
oval.
take yours. I heard that the municipal building will be the first to be built. This is from Facebook. I heard that the municipal building is the first to be built. Will they be allowed to occupy that building while other construction is going on? I don't know if it's you, Mayor. You set up somebody to ask that. But contemplate that, project manager, while we take this question.
Well, Mark, they said the projected date is 3 years, well, 24 months, but 3 years because even though the complete construction, they might spend a year to do minor works. But based on what they are saying, that 24 months, that should be starting from this year.
Here on this property will be sufficiently provided with water, but the surrounding communities will not be affected.
Indeed,
if
Shireen.
at all, or perhaps their access to the water will in fact be improved by virtue of the urban center being in this position, because the water will need to be sufficiently provided to cover everyone here, as well as I would expect the surrounding community.
Okay, so what impact will the residents and the community feel or experience with respect to water based on this construction?
Let me quickly reassure you that there will be no or very little impact to the community. As I said earlier, that the whole situation will be augmented because we are also looking to reactivate other wells. The aquifer is out live and well, and currently we're just going to rehabilitate the system, ensure that the pumping and the pumps are in great condition. So there will be very little or no impact to the community, as you even suggested or inferred, that it probably improved, because what we are going to rely on in this particular location is the rehabilitation of 1 or 2 of our own wells. And we have adequate on-site storage, complemented by, as you will see, that there are some huge tanks in there. But we will have our own adequate supply that won't impact the community.
You're going to take the question, who's going to take the question as to the municipal building being built first, whether or not?
I'll simply say this. While I know that the municipal building is a part of the first part of the implementation, we are encouraging what we might look at as sectional completion. We're not opposed to that, but we need to ensure that they are in readiness because we have all the designs in place. They need to review them and ensure that when the shell is up, they can habitate these spaces and move quickly. The municipal buildings, as it were, we're trying to ensure that these are part of the forefront in the development because it represents order, it represents governorship of the parish, and we want to have that established. It's a big part of the mandate from the Prime Minister that we want order, we want proper organized development. So this new modern building will also seek to represent that in its architecture, in its prominence in the development and what it represents. So we have no objection because we are going to look for sectional completion. I will go a little bit further because we spoke about some satellite buildings in there and people talk about KFC, and all of these people are on board and they are eager, and I mean eager. We get phone calls every single day. When is the start? And so these buildings, including NCB, are part of these satellite buildings that are there, which represents the growth. As a segue into this discussion, when we are talking about the question that was led to and the chairman addressed, there is the opportunity inside this development that we have allowed for a museum, and that museum is a part of what we call the attraction of this facility. It's making it a destination that will speak to, as Mr. Henrique said, our great history. And I would like to ensure that the people of St. Thomas is a part of this. And so is this ground, actually where we're seated on, is a part of a park that will sensitize our children and by extension the community of this history in terms of how this park will be maintained and operated as part of the amenities of this facility, so that it becomes a destination that you all enjoy day in, day out.
Don't move. The next question is, will there be an enclosed auditorium?
Short answer is no. There will be an auditorium to facilitate the cultural aspects of the town, and to have, if for instance you have JCDC and all of these things, and we have open bands and stuff, but there's no enclosed, as it were, any kind of community auditorium.
Top class, bro.
No.
Okay, don't move. I'm just going to allow this gentleman to ask his question first, but I have a few social media questions for you. So, you're being up on a chair. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My question is, will this project include renewable energy sources and water harvesting systems?
Thank you very much, sir.
Very prudent question, sir. Yes, it is. Short answer is yes. So we're looking at incorporating a voltaic farm, which will be capitalizing on all of these rooftops, the part of the energy production. The water harvesting is a big part of it, and in terms of our stormwater management. And so if you look closely at some of the 3D images, you would have seen ponds and runoffs that will encourage, where it would be standing on, in some areas, what we call water retention, which will be buried below the surface, that is our detention areas, before we go into the wetland ponds. So we are trying to manage, and then we use that for the irrigation of the property in terms of landscaping and so forth.
Yeah, another question coming from social media. Where do we get the form?
Yes, it's good to tire factory. Let me just swing to the right.
Generally speaking, let me encourage everyone listening that you can check email. You can
reconfigure into a town center.
Client
Good question, Mike.
fcj.com. clientcare@fcj.com. A client care representative will be in touch with you to offer the support that you need. Another question, where can we find a proposed floor plan or information on allocation so far? So where can we find is there a floor, in terms of the allocation, I'd want to encourage you to make contact with the client care at fcj.com. If you check the FCJ website, you will be able to see very similar display as we have here in terms of what the project will be. Apart from business institutions, what extracurricular activities inclusive of attractions will be implemented? Oh, you answered that just now. You talk about a museum, you talk about, yes, there's going to be an auditorium, albeit outdoor. So yes, there is that there, and then the solar, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening again. Just to confirm, are you in a position to say whether or not portals will actually be posed at the urban center? And if yes, what measures as it relates to security of the users of the portals will be in place?
Okay, that question is yes, but then you're going to get a little bit more detail. Let me correct the email I just gave. It's clientcare@fcj.gov.jm. clientcare@fcj.gov.jm.
Okay, the courthouse will be left situated to the northwestern end, which is just behind us, pretty much where the cricket pitch is. In terms of security management, we have created a separate entrance, which is just behind that, right, which is a secure entrance for the movement of the unlawful. and for security reasons, we have gone into great depth in terms of, and we are still in the design, to some respect within a design phase with managing some of that, in terms of the separation of the disciplines, because it will also house a family court in there, a number of courts. So we have to ensure that we have the protection of the youngsters and the separation and management of these young people. So we are also
the family court
the security of the judge and the support services. So all of that has been with detailed dialogue with the justice.
Repeat your question.
And we are endeavoring to make sure that we get it right, because it also will be a model courthouse as the new codes and practices will be employed under this particular development. I hope I've answered you.
This year, they said it should have a duration period of 36 months, but 24 months for completion of construction.
Okay, all right. So we're going to
and they will use 1 year to evaluate the construction, because they know so they are going to things that need to be added and
a few
done. So
from Facebook here. When will the project start? April of this year. It's a 24-hour. It's a 24-month.
So hear that? The project will start April this year. And it's a 24-month project.
Such as Heart? Yes, there is.
You get the answer, Nigel? It will start next month,
for the
which is
community.
April.
Yes,
and it's 2 years for construction.
What percentage of workers will come from the parish in terms of the construction phase?
Yes, could you have 6 wells, 3 is in commission and 3 is out of commission, but then going to recommission another the old tree that was contaminated 25 years ago. Good question, Mike.
So we just wrap up with these 2 questions.
All right, good evening again, everybody. I just really wanted to follow up to what I was saying earlier. Even if it is that we can confirm that local entities will get whatever percentage of shops, I'm just advocating and pleading that there's at
Well,
least a
say
small
April.
business hub so that our
So
local
that means
people are not
this
left
month.
behind.
Thanks for the
One of the
correct,
things that I'm
Janet.
scared of and what I'm
So you're
seeing
correct.
is the possibility of development to be happening around us and not for us, the people of St. Thomas. So let's not allow the development to be happening around us and not for us. And that's not just for the powers that be that makes determination, but for us to realize, because I realize that a number of people who are owning property now based on the development that is happening are not people from St. Thomas. And the statement earlier that the MC was trying to carry, I don't know about any of you who have tried to advocate for the development of our parish over the years, but it's something that I've been doing over the years, and I believe you can agree with me to say, I'm happy, this is just more emotional than anything else, I'm happy to live to see the day when development in St. Thomas is possible and people across Jamaica are actually lauding us. So the statement is that I have forgotten that they have said that St. Thomas is a forgotten parish.
Okay, thank you very much for the fulsome content.
Tashana Mullen was speaking.
Yes, thank you
Tashana
so much.
Mullen was speaking.
And just to endorse what my colleague
Tashana Mullen was Tashana Mullins.
While we are eager, we are
She
happy
is
for
the
this
founder of
development
Next
that
Step.
is taking place.
So you can check
But over
out
the
Next
years,
Step
as a
Educational
child
Services.
growing up into
She
my
have
adulthood,
that
we
thing,
are
you know,
always
that
hearing
helps
about the
young
forgotten
people.
parish of St. Thomas. And all these years, we have always seen things happening. A few years ago, we saw the ground breaking. And so I remember sitting in this spot, under this spot of ground here. And there was the opening of this place. Now, I want to ask, who will be accountable? Because I heard a date on the 18th of April. The malls and all these things will be dumped up and the materials will come in.
So the
If
official
this date
construction
should come
date is the
and
8th.
nothing has happened, who should we hold accountable for this? Because for too long we have been seeing and hearing these wonderful
question.
things. But after the time when it comes, there's nothing. There is a moment of silence, a period of silence. But I want to hold somebody accountable that after we leave this place, if these things should not have happened, who should we hold accountable?
Okay, the accountable officer is right here.
Oh yes, a member of parliament, Jebs.
Yes, it is getting late, but that's an important question. We have waited so long, Mr. Chairman. We have been patient. Nobody has taken more criticism than I have for the lack of development. I listened to Ms. Mullins a while ago, and she said St. Thomas is no longer referred to as the forgotten parish. I can tell you, if you want to buy a lot of land in St. Thomas now, and I was warning my residents, the citizens, anything you can see you can afford to pay your taxes and to buy, hold on to it legally. Now that question tells us one thing.
Prices are gonna go up.
If we, Mr. Mayor, are forced to understand the challenges that Mr. Tanny Shirley has gone through, the rigor that NCB has put it through, the architect, we have here all the people who are controlling the timelines, the engineer who worked on the biggest project ever, housing project in the history of Jamaica, is here with us. He reminded me he went on as a junior engineer and left as a senior engineer. He is going to hold the timelines together. In terms of the start, after Easter, let's remember we have Easter, our holy period. Once we see Easter come, I know that check, if they get their deposit from NCB and Factory Corporation, will start dumping to protect this. I look forward to it. We have gone a long way and we have to be positive tonight. And I only say to the Prime Minister, the agencies of government, today led by the Factories Corporation, thank you on behalf of the Member of Parliament for East St. Thomas, myself, the Mayor, and all the citizens. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have come to the end of this program, but I could not end without just having you, the citizens of St. Thomas, hear just a few words from the housing development that is coming not so far from here.
Say,
So I want to invite
housing development coming to St. Thomas.
Yes.
Of course, First Rock has shared that they will be investing $1 billion in the parish for housing development.
On the development that is coming.
Things are happening in the parish, guys.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen.
Always a stress on the must buy land because the price them are going to shoot right through the sky.
First Rock. We are here in attendance to observe this groundbreaking ceremony, and congrats to Mr. Shirley and team from the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, all the other stakeholders, XCB, Czech, Pencasa, all stakeholders involved. We're happy to see this. This project is in line with our vision for St. Thomas, which we are aggressive about and been pursuing for several years. As the guys know, we are bringing luxury to St. Thomas in short order, just up the road from this major groundbreaking and turning point project for St. Thomas. So, to the residents of St. Thomas and all stakeholders involved, again, congratulations on this project, and we look forward to being a part of the growth of St. Thomas and Jamaica at large. Thank you guys very much.
Okay, great. So we have road, we have urban center, we have housing development at another level. So all that is left for me to say here now, Mr. Mayor, members of Parliament, Eastern and
So the
Western,
construction of this town center will officially start the 18th
Factories Corporation,
of
and
April.
most importantly, you, the people of St. Thomas. I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to allow us to engage you. I want to thank you very much for attending this event and remind you for further engagement in terms of the allocation and the space, it is clientcare@fcj.gov.jm, and we would be more than happy to have an engagement with you. So once again, I wish you a wonderful evening. Thank you.
So that's the conclusion of the town hall meeting for the Morant Dearborn